Walker Buehler is gone. Buehler signed with the Boston Red Sox. Why the Dodgers did not bring back Walker Buehler, and the Dodgers could pivot to these other free agents and possible trades if they do not sign Teoscar Hernandez. All that more coming up next on Dodgers Dugout Live.
It's time for Dodger Baseball. Welcome to Dodger Stadium.
This is the golden age of Dodger baseball. The Dodgers are building a dynasty.
You guys want a parade? We got a parade! The Dodgers punch back and head to the championship series. Tony starts the 50-50 clock. Monkey magic. Freeman hits the ball to right field. She is gone! Start the party, Los Angeles. Your Dodgers have won the World Series.
Think blue, bleed blue, and I'm out.
What is up, Dodgers Nation, and welcome to another episode of Dodgers Dugout Live. Everything you need to know about your boys in blue in less than an hour. My name is Doug McKain, credential member of Dodgers Media. You can follow me on X and Instagram at DMAC_LA. Now, if you haven't yet, do me a huge favor. You guys want to get me some for the holidays? Subscribe to the Dodgers Nation YouTube channel. Subscribe to the Dodgers Nation Dodgers Dugout Live podcast. Hit the like button and drop your comments down below. What are your thoughts? What is your reaction to Walker Buehler signing with the Boston Red Sox? Of course, every episode of Dodgers Dugout Live, we've got the Dodgers Nation poll question of the show. And I asked you guys over on the X, do you think the Dodgers will regret not re-signing Walker Buehler? And right now, 41% of you say yes, while 59% of you say no. So most Dodgers fans right now say that the Dodgers won't regret not bringing back Walker Buehler. Of course, we've got Noel Sanchez, Noise by Noel. He's rocking with us today. As always, he's looking for your takes down below, your comments of this show that we'll get to during the seventh inning stretch. And Tony Taters, Antonio Curiel, is rocking with us as always. He's, of course, in his feelings. He fell to his knees at a Chipotle when he heard the news. Actually, he fell to his knees at probably like a Starbucks. I mean, what was your reaction, Antonio? We know that you're very attached to these Dodgers. You hate to see them go to other teams. What was your reaction when you learned that Walker Buehler was not going to be back with your boys in blue?
Oh, geez, Doug. I was actually sound asleep, and I get a text message in the morning, bing, from J-Rob, our very own J-Rob. Just Walker Buehler signs with the Red Sox, 1 year, $21 million contract. I was like, you know what I mean? Like, I couldn't believe it, and it's finally settled, and I'm bummed, bro. I'm seriously bummed.
And Noel, what is the reaction on social media? Because it feels like there's some Dodgers who kind of prepped themselves for this. They felt like this could be a reality, but it doesn't make it sting any less.
No, yeah. I mean, the general reaction on social media so far has been just a lot of sad fans. I think especially because news about Teo hasn't surfaced. He's still a free agent, so seeing Buehler leave, the man that rewrote his entire season narrative, that threw up the gladiator pose like Antonio's doing right now, that got the final 3 outs of the World Series, is going to Boston. I think a lot of fans are really sad, but they also are excited to see how well he's going to play this year and potentially set him up for an even bigger payday next offseason. So we're always going to have the memories. That can never be taken away.
Absolutely. So let's get right into it. Every episode of Dodgers Dugout Live starts with the leadoff.
Leading off, the hottest story in Dodger baseball.
So the hottest story in Dodger baseball, of course, is that Walker Buehler has signed with the Boston Red Sox. Jeff Passan tweeted out this morning, right-hander Walker Buehler and the Boston Red Sox are in agreement on a 1-year, $21.05 million contract, sources tell ESPN. One of the Dodgers' World Series heroes had a 2-time All-Star. He will join a rebuilt Red Sox rotation, a high upside play for both. First, Russell Dorsey. So give him the credit. But that was a move that we anticipated. We've said in this entire offseason, even though I wanted to see Walker Buehler back, my prediction at the very first show after the World Series was that he ultimately would sign with another team. And then the Dodgers went out there and they signed, who in my opinion is the best free agent that was available this offseason on the mound, and that is Blake Snell. After that signing, the writing was on the wall that Walker Buehler would not be back with this team in this rotation. And another big factor is because the Dodgers are still heavily involved in signing Roki Sasaki, the Japanese phenom pitcher who posted a couple weeks ago. Andrew Friedman told us at the winter meetings that signing Roki Sasaki is one of their main priorities this offseason. So if you're going to sign Roki Sasaki, he's not going to be pitching at the minor league level. He's going to enter this rotation very quickly. And then this rotation would have been pretty crowded already, because you look at the way it stands right now. You've got Blake Snell. You've got Tyler Glasnow, Yoshinobu Yamamoto. Shohei Ohtani is returning. Then you've got Clayton Kershaw is going to re-sign and probably go on the IL for a period of time before he makes his debut this season. Tony Gonsolin is back. You still have guys like Bobby Miller and Landon Knack and Ben Kasperius, guys like that. And then there's a spot open for Roki Sasaki when they do go to that 6-man rotation. So it would have been great to continue to stockpile that depth in the rotation. But the truth is that Walker Buehler really needed to go to a team where he can guarantee himself 20 to 25 plus starts this season, where he can guarantee himself the opportunity to show teams around the league that he can give you 120 to 150 to 160 plus innings, pitch well possibly in the postseason. And then if he does all that and he puts it together at a really nice clip where he has a sub-4 ERA, he can put himself in a position to sign a nice multi-year deal. But initial takeaways from this deal itself, as far as it being a 1-year, $21+ million contract, a little over $21 million, is that this essentially is identical to the qualifying offer that the Dodgers did not extend to Walker Buehler. That was the qualifying offer this season. And he gets that amount, plus he gets incentives. So if you're Walker Buehler, you get the qualifying offer amount, and then if you have yourself a nice season, if you meet certain escalators, you can earn more money than that. And for a guy that really struggled this season, the regular season, he did not pitch well. The regular season, there was a point in time where he said that he thought that he was going to be released. And then he turns that around in the postseason and has himself a really magical run where after Game 3 against the Padres, where he gave those 6 runs and you had the bad defense, you had the bad luck in that inning, he would go on to put together 10 scoreless frames, and he was really excellent after that for the Dodgers. And look, for a team that needed just 3 starters to win a World Series, those 3 starters had to be great at times and come up in big spots, and he certainly did that. So you can't take that away from him. He had 4 scoreless innings in Game 3 of the NLCS against the Mets on the road when the Mets had tied that series at 1 game apiece. It was cold. He has always liked pitching in cold weather all the way from his days at Vanderbilt. He went out there 4 scoreless in Game 3 against the Mets. And then Game 3 of the World Series, he pitched 5 shutty. And then you started to see the Walker Buehler of old, where the punch-outs were coming in bunches, where he struck out 11 of the 36 batters that he faced, was posting a strikeout rate north of 30% at 30.6%. And then, of course, the moment of all moments, Game 5 of the World Series, where Jack Flaherty was only able to give them 4 outs. Blake Trinan, he was a hero, going over 2 innings in that one. And then Walker Buehler makes his way to the bullpen, warms up, and says, I'm going to finish the job here. I'm going to end this. And he goes out there and he gets 2 strikeouts. He strikes out Alex Verdugo to end the game, and he gives the Dodgers the World Series championship. So teams out there saw this and were intrigued by the upside that you saw in the postseason, the upside that he's always had, the ability to go out there and challenge hitters and not be afraid of the big moment. And he parlayed that into getting more money. If Walker Buehler did not have the postseason he had, if we didn't see those heroics, he would be looking at a 1-year, $14 or $15 million deal. Instead, it's $21 million. So I think that Walker Buehler earned himself $6 to $7 million at least with his performance at the end of the NLDS, in the NLCS, and in the World Series. And he has the potential to earn even more than that if he can have success in the regular season with the Boston Red Sox. So give him credit. Give him credit. This is a guy that went almost 23 months without pitching after undergoing his second Tommy John surgery. He comes back in May for the Dodgers, and it wasn't a great year for him. The regular season, he made just 16 starts. He posted a 5.38 ERA, had a 4.78 expected ERA, had 64 strikeouts and 28 walks in 75 and a thirds innings. And then Dave Roberts really put a lot of pressure on him in the Dodgers clubhouse in Atlanta after Tyler Glasnow was done for the year. He said, we need you to go on a heater. We need you to step up in a big way. And even in the NLDS of the first part, it did not look like he was going to turn his season around. So nothing about his regular season or his first start in the postseason would have made you think that this is someone that was going to sign a one-year deal over $21 million. And I think that from the Dodgers standpoint, one of the big takeaways from this is they're not afraid to move on from guys. They're not going to make emotional decisions because of what you've done for them in the past. The Dodgers, they're not overly focusing on what you did for them. They're focusing on what they think you could do for them in the future. And I think if you're the Dodgers, you are happy with what he did. He's a Dodgers legend. This is someone who's got his lifetime card, his Dodgers for life card. It's unfortunate the Red Sox will not be playing at Dodgers Stadium, so you won't get that nice video montage of him at the Ravine next season. But they realize that, hey, we're not going to say, oh, Walker Buehler went crazy for us in the postseason, let's sign him to a multi-year deal. No, they did not extend that qualifying offer, which really helps the Boston Red Sox because they didn't have to give up that draft pick. They don't have to give any draft pick compensation, and you're essentially getting the qualifying offer money, not giving the draft pick compensation. If you're the Dodgers, they could have brought him back. I think easily, if he was looking for a multi-year deal, you could have brought him back. I mean, 2 years, 35, 45, something in that range with the opt-outs after one. I mean, there's clearly a path to bring back Walker Buehler. I don't think the Dodgers really had extended talks with him because I think it was pretty clear from their end that he was probably going to move on. So my number one takeaway from this is the Dodgers could have absolutely re-signed Walker Buehler, but they chose not to, especially on a one-year deal. And consider this, with the Dodgers being north of $300 million, sitting at $328 million right now with their estimated payroll for the 2025 season, paying Walker Buehler $21 million is like paying him over $40 million for one season. And I don't think that they could have looked Walker Buehler in the eye and said to him, okay, if we sign you back on a one-year deal, no matter what happens, even if you go through some struggles, some bumps in the road, that we're going to guarantee you 20, 25, 30 starts. I don't think the Dodgers were in a position to extend that guarantee, so it just didn't make sense for both sides. So, look, at the end of the day, like I said earlier this morning, hey, he throws up the, oh, you're not entertained pose after striking out Alex Verdugo. Yes, we were entertained by Walker Buehler for a long time. Let's not forget, he was Andrew Friedman's first draft pick back in 2015 when the Dodgers selected him with the 24th pick in the draft. And he would go on to have a really, really awesome career in his time with LA. 2018, game 163, gave up just one hit, went 6 2/3 innings against the Colorado Rockies to help get that Dodgers team to the postseason. I'll never forget after the game being there, and he addressed the crowd. And he's like, we need to hear this crowd this effing loud all postseason long. And it was like, oh, wow, this guy is that dude. Dropping F-bombs, being Walker effing Buehler. And then later in the postseason, game 3 against the Boston Red Sox in a game that he dominated. He went 7 scoreless, had 7 strikeouts. He had the great Sandy Koufax on his feet, giving him an ovation. And unfortunately, that game would go 7 hours and 20 minutes, the longest game in World Series history. But you saw the sheer dominance. And at that point, it was clear that Walker Buehler really was establishing himself as one of the best pitchers on the planet and certainly one of the best pitchers in the postseason. The Dodgers didn't win that year. 2019, they got bounced by the Nationals in the first round. And then he was pivotal in 2020. I mean, how many times did we see him against the Braves, against the Padres, kind of escape in a high wire act and get out of it? And what he brought to that team was he was the dude that was pumping 98, 99, four-seam fastball, perceived rise up in the zone. They needed that version of a pitcher because they really didn't have that from their starters, right? Kershaw wasn't that guy. Julio wasn't that guy. They just weren't getting that level of dominance from a starter, and he gave them that, and they win the World Series. 2021, I think, is a year for Walker Buehler that not enough Dodgers fans really give him a lot of credit for just because of how it ended, because of the way they went out and given up the runs and the home run. I mean, Rosario in Game 6 of the NLCS to the Braves. But that year, Walker Buehler was one of just 5 pitchers to pitch over 200 innings. He went 207 2/3 innings in 2021. He ended up starting 33 games that year, had a 2.47 ERA, a 3.08 expected ERA, and a 3.16 FIP, and he finished top 4 in the Cy Young voting. There was a point in time in 2021, late in that year, where in August, he was the odds-on favorite to win the Cy Young. And in the following season, of course, he just wasn't himself. I do think pitching on short rest, I do think being a little overly taxed in 2022 are what led to some of those injuries and him not being at 100%. And that was evidence early on. In 2022, he just did not look like himself. He ended up going on the injured list, and he was on the injured list for 10 weeks, and then he ends up getting that Tommy John surgery, and then that was it. And even that year, he was one of the only pitchers to pitch a complete game. Remember, against the Arizona Diamondbacks on the road. So there's a guy that emptied the tank. He gave everything to this organization. Both sides, I think, are going to have those lasting memories forever. And me personally, I don't think that the Dodgers are going to regret not bringing back Walker Buehler. And it's easy to say that now because I know I can guarantee that if the postseason rolls around and whoever the Dodgers have on the mound isn't coming through, first thing Dodgers fans are going to be saying is, where's Walker effing Buehler? Buehler would have struck that guy out. Buehler would have had the big game clutch gene DNA to get you out of that inning. I know that's going to be the first thing you're going to say, but for this rotation, the future of it, it's kind of how it stands. Now, another big takeaway, too, is just kind of looking back. Now, Will Smith, he is going to finish his career with the Dodgers, but you look at that core. You look at Walker Buehler and Corey Seager and Cody Bellinger and Julio Urias, all those guys, right? We were having the debate for so many years. Which of these guys is going to get the bag? Is it going to be Belly? Is it going to be Siegs? Is it going to be Julio? Is it going to be Walker? All 4 of those guys didn't get the bag. All 4 of those guys are on different teams. So give this Dodgers team credit for being nimble, being flexible, and being willing to move on, even though there are those strong emotional ties. But we got some super chats. Adrian Sanchez, $4.99. This is not the Christmas present we wanted. Thank you, Butane, for the memories. Legend forever. Give you a nice little Let's Go Dodgers for that one. Ricardo Moreno, $5. D-Mac, Merry Christmas, and I hope you have all the tortas. Thank you, Walker, for bringing us some championships. Yeah, that's the thing, man. Like I said, there's something cool about the fact that his final pitch with the Dodgers is going to be that strikeout of Alex Verdugo. And look, you always bring back Walker Buehler. I'm sure that both sides, there's no animosity between these two. And if it makes sense down the line, I wouldn't be surprised to see him back one day. I mean, you have to leave the door open. I think the Dodgers kind of want to see what he has. Like I said, 2023, he had a 101 ERA plus in that season. So he wasn't great that year. 2022, 16 starts, was below average. So I think that for Buehler, for this organization, for teams around the league, you got to see, can you get regular season Buehler back in He said on Mookie's podcast that he's a problem now. If I'm Buehler, look, we know that the bright lights bring the best out of you in the postseason, but I think we know now during this entire stretch of the free agency run with Corbin Burns set to get a big amount, Max Fried getting over projection, Blake Snell getting $182 million. Teams pay for regular season success in free agency, so he has to consider that as well. And you look at the Red Sox, I mean, that's kind of what they're doing. I mean, you get $21 million on Buehler, $18.25 million on Sandoval. You got the Crochet trade. You have a very interesting rotation as it stands. We got BT Faust, Dodgers legend Walker Buehler. Glad we got him another ring before it was all said and done here. Wish him well. Love that one. Give you that as a little. We got John Fernandez. I fell to my knees at the King Torta parking lot. Give you a bruh for that one. Sabrina. Walker is going to soar and deserves to play like the dog he is. Will miss him 21. Martin Troop. Walker was supposed to replace Kershaw at one point in his career. He still goes down as a Dodgers legend. Kelly Oshiro. If we don't get Sasaki, we'll wish we had Walker. If we get Roki, I'll feel better. Yeah, it's a great point from Kelly that if the Dodgers do get Roki Sasaki, that's going to put a smile on your face. That will soften the blow for sure, 100%. But look, it's a part of being a fan of a team that has a lot of talent. I mean, when you have a lot of talent on a team, that some point those guys are going to get poached by other organizations and they're going to have really strong offers. So it's really a good problem to have. I mean, the 180 of this, the other side of this is not caring when other teams signed the players that you had, right? I mean, it means there was success there and a lot of big moments. Hepatitis, see you later. Walker Buehler trade deadline reunion. Like I said, anything's possible. Anything's possible with this organization. And I think that if you are Walker Buehler, your goal should be to have a good year and get traded at the deadline. That way, teams can't extend that qualifying offer towards you, and it'll help make your market a little more robust. So that should be his goal right now. Will that be the Dodgers? Hey, Kike came back and he was a Red Sox too. So I'm not saying it's going to happen, but I'm also saying anything can happen. Let's be honest here. We've got Tony Visuals. It deeply hurts, but I wish the best, and he will always be a Dodger in our hearts. Ronaldo Pascual, Dodgers versus Red Sox in July. Should be a good one. Yeah, it's going to be in Fenway. It should be a good one for sure. Ken Warm, I don't think Buehler went to a good place to revive his career. It doesn't seem like a good ballpark to bet on yourself. Fenway isn't exactly a good ballpark for pitching. Yeah, I mean, I think that's a lot of that's going to hinge on, do you get the postseason version of Buehler we saw in the end? Because that's going to play up in any ballpark. And look, you definitely want to go to a good team on the East Coast. The Red Sox, really on paper, they haven't spent as much as really their fans think they should have spent over the last couple of seasons. But I still think that Buehler can have success in Fenway. I truly do. We got Mr. Classic. If Buehler was gone on a 3-year deal, yeah, it's over. But 1 year, come on now, Mr. Classic. That's a fair point. That really is. I mean, that does factor into the emotions of this. I mean, I was fully expecting to see a deal similar to the one that Frankie Montas signed with the New York Mets, where it's 2 years, you have an opt-out after one, and then it's like, okay, the Dodgers don't want to pay for the potential downside of a first year that doesn't go their way for a player that can opt out in the second year. But yeah, the Dodgers could afford this. But like I said, I don't think a lot of people are mentioning this, is the 110% surcharge that would come with giving him $21 million. It's not just $21 million, right? And we don't know what the deferrals are, if there are any. I'm guessing they're not. So it just didn't make a ton of sense. But yeah, man, I'm always going to love me some Walker Buehler. Dude had ice in his veins. Butane is going to be beloved here forever. And he's a part of Dodgers lore forever. I mean, we have him in the intro of the show. We're not taking him out, right? Because that moment's going to live forever. We got $4.99 super chat from Adi Aquino, sending you a super chat so you can say, Dodgers for life. Okay. There you go. There you go. There you go. There's your super chat. Love me some Kirsch, man. Oh, yeah, it's going to be sad. I mean, Kirsch and Buehler not in the Dodgers dugout. That's got to hit you in the feels. Keith Evan, $4.99. When Andrew Claus delivers, I like that, Andrew Claus delivers Teo with a bow, and gives us Roki as our New Year's resolution, my Buehler tears will dry away. Merry Christmas, D-Mac. Keith Evans, going to be a nice little comment of the show action for that one. Absolutely. That is going to change things and change your perspective because there's only a certain amount of innings to go around, a certain amount of starts to go around. Like I said, the worst thing for Buehler would be had he re-signed here and got lost in the shuffle. But we're going to switch gears now and give an update on Teoscar Hernandez. So over the weekend, Ken Rosenthal, he put out a piece for The Athletic, and he really reported what we've kind of been talking about on the show for the last week, that the Dodgers and Teoscar Hernandez have been at an impasse. Rosenthal writes, as negotiations with free agent outfielder Teoscar Hernandez remain at an impasse, the World Series champion Los Angeles Dodgers are exploring a number of intriguing right-handed hitting alternatives. He would go on to say, Hernandez, 32, is seeking a 3-year deal between $66 million and $72 million, according to a person briefed on the negotiations. The contract length does not appear to be a point of contention between the parties. The issue is money. So, sounds like Ken and I are talking to the same guy when it comes to the information regarding Teoscar Hernandez. As we have said on the show, that it's not the years, it's the money and the deferrals. And what I can tell you, based on my sources, is that the Dodgers and Teoscar Hernandez, they haven't communicated for over a week. There's been no communication between the Dodgers and Teoscar Hernandez. And that doesn't necessarily mean that a deal is dead. It means to me that the Dodgers know what it's going to take to get Teo back. And right now, it's not a matter of, who blinks first, a game of chicken. Because the deal that the Dodgers are offering Teo, I don't think that Teo will ultimately accept. I think the Dodgers will have to up their offer as far as signing bonus and guarantees and deferrals and things like that for it to come to agreement, for them to meet in the middle somewhere. I think from Teoscar Hernandez's standpoint, he is in a position where there's going to be other teams that are interested. Anthony Santander is still on the market. Seiya Suzuki could be a trade option. Luis Robert Jr. could be a trade option. And I have been told that, they have picked up talks with other teams. The Dodgers are still the priority, but still, I think that we know at this point, Andrew Friedman and the Dodgers in this organization, they have a dollar amount, a contract number that they're comfortable with when it comes to Teoscar Hernandez. And they kind of put their fist down. They've drawn a line in the sand, and they said, we're going to kind of stick to that, at least right now. Now, when you look at this story, when you look at some of these other players that Ken Rosenthal mentions that the Dodgers could pivot to, is that the Dodgers playing a little 4D chess? Is that the Dodgers kind of throwing it out there saying, hey, if we don't sign Teo, it's all right. We'll trade for Luis Robert Jr. We'll trade for Seiya Suzuki. We'll go out there and sign a Hassan Kim. We'll do that. And then the message from Teo's camp is like, hey, they're willing to move on and pivot if they can't get a deal done. Does that make it to where we need to say, okay, we will accept your offer, or we will sign a deal that you feel more comfortable with? I think that could possibly be in play, but I also think, too, the Dodgers are pretty much straight shooters with the players that they deal with. They're transparent, they're honest, they give their free agent targets time to have discussions with other teams, and you're not going to see a Dodgers team get emotional and impatient and desperate for a player. There's only a handful of guys in the history of this organization that they've negotiated with that I think they've been willing to get into a quote-unquote bidding war with, or willing to really just hand over a blank check. I think Ohtani was that guy. I think Mookie Betts was that guy. I think that Yoshinobu Yamamoto was that guy. Teoscar Hernandez isn't that guy. You have to accept that. And I know some people say 32 is old. It's not old. To me, 32, you're in your prime. Not old, in your prime. A 2 or 3 year deal is not going to break the Dodgers financially. It isn't, but it's going to lock in the 1 through 4 of your order for the foreseeable future and limit any flexibility that you might have if you want to be additive and pursue a Luis Robert Jr., say a Suzuki, sign a Ha-Seong Kim, guys like that. It will affect that just because there's only a certain amount of positions on the team, right? There's only so many guys you can go out there and make moves for. And look, the truth is when it comes to Teoscar Hernandez, I think the Dodgers love a lot of things about him. One, they love that he rakes against left-handed pitchers. Since the start of the 2021 season, only Aaron Judge has a higher slugging percentage against southpaws. Two, you need a righty bat that is not named Will Smith or Mookie Betts in this lineup that you can really trust to be productive. I mean, it's already a very lefty-heavy lineup. I mean, with Michael Conforto and Lux, I mean, you're looking at 5 of your 9 hitters potentially being lefties. They need a right-handed bat. There's no doubt about that. And they also love the clubhouse presence. They also love, look, I don't want to imagine having the Dodgers hit a home run. You don't see the sunflower seeds, right? It'd be a buzzkill. It'd be a bummer just because we know that some levity to this clubhouse during the slog of a 162-game season is important. And you can't underestimate clubhouse chemistry. On the flip side, there are some things that Teoscar does possess as far as his player profile that typically the Dodgers haven't loved. They don't love guys that aren't plus defenders at multiple positions. His defensive metrics in left field were below average. And I do think a lot of that was because he hadn't played there since 2021. His defensive metrics were better in right. But all in all, I think for where they're at right now, the pros outweigh the cons. It's just a matter of getting to a contract that they feel good about. And I think, too, there's a tiny bit of, hey, man, Luis Robert Jr., that's a lot of upside. Seiya Suzuki, some interesting upside. Ha-Seong Kim, if you would go and sign Ha-Seong Kim, he's a Gold Glove award-winning utility man. He won that award, gives you plus defense at multiple infield positions. And if you were to go out there and assign a Ha-Seong Kim, Mookie Betts goes to second base. Mookie Betts possibly goes to the outfield. I still think that if you did sign a Ha-Seong Kim, you would put Mookie at second, and then you would explore some trades for Gavin Lux. That would have to be the move there. But he's a great defender. He is recovering from labrum surgery, and he's going to be back at some point towards the beginning of the season. Won't be ready most likely for opening day, but that is a move. So I think really right now, as much as we all love Teoscar Hernandez, as much as we all want to see him back in Dodger blue, we have to look at the fact that this is a business. The Dodgers are trying to construct this roster the best way they can. And at the end of the day, if it ultimately ends up where Teoscar's back on this team, you can guarantee yourself that they got him back on the contract that they wanted to sign him on. So look, like I said, strikes out almost 1/3 of the time, not a great defender. To me, the pros significantly outweigh any cons for Teoscar. And I do think that he has earned a nice contract to be back with this team. And we're going to see how badly, though, he wants to be back, because it might require him to kind of take a little less to be back on a World Series contending club that's trying to defend their title. We got Richard Flores. What up, Richard Flores? $4.99 Super Chat. Understand that Teo is not on board with the deferrals. How much more can the Dodgers defer? They're starting to abuse this option playing games. I mean, can't tell you so for the deferrals, I mean, you're looking at some pretty sizable deferrals considering the amount that was offered in the last talks they had. But yeah, I mean, you're talking about a guy that doesn't want deferrals, and it's certainly within his negotiating power to get a deal that does that. Now, yes, they have a lot of guys that have agreed to deferrals, and what that does is it minimizes your net present value. But depending on what you do with that money, I mean, you're still going to get a good amount of money, right? I do think that if they get him back at 3 years $64 million with no deferrals. That is a premium for Teo, but I still think that if they look, I mean, let's put it this way. I mean, his numbers at the plate were pretty much on par with what Francisco Lindor's were with the Mets, and he was runner-up in the MVP. Of course, Lindor plays elite defense at shortstop, but I mean, having that level of production from your fourth or fifth or sixth batter in the lineup, maybe fourth or fifth, I mean, that's very, very valuable. And I think that the question that you might have about bringing back Teo should always be like, oh, the Dodgers are all in on this championship window for the next 3 years. And that's what it should be, right? So I hope they bring back Teo. But let's explore some of these other options. So Ken Rosenthal also wrote in his piece, the potential options that the Dodgers could pivot to, according to sources briefed on the team's discussions, include infielder Ha-Seong Kim in free agency and Chicago Cubs right fielder Seiya Suzuki and Chicago White Sox center fielder Luis Robert Jr. in a trade. So I want to start with Luis Robert Jr. And if you've been watching this show for a long time, you guys know, love me some Luis Robert Jr. just because when it comes to upside potential, Luis Robert Jr. is not just a possible perennial all-star. He's someone that could win an MVP. Not with Shohei Ohtani on the planet, but I mean, he's someone who could finish top 2, 3, 4, 5 in an MVP race. He has that level of talent. He also has a contract that's extremely team-friendly. Luis Robert Jr. is set to make $15 million in 2025. He has $20 million club options for both the 2026 and 2027 season. Doesn't have a no-trade clause. And with that level of production that he brings, if you look at his season in 2023, he had 38 home runs, had an 857 OPS, finished 12th in the AL MVP voting. That is elite. That is a player that you want on your team, especially when you factor in the defense. He had a 128 weighted runs created plus, 38 dingers, 80 RBI. Now, in 2024, though, he didn't have his best season. He hit 224, had an 84 weighted runs created plus, hit 14 home runs, was dealing with some injuries, and that really is the biggest con with Luis Robert Jr. I mean, he should pretty much have his mail sent to the IL because he lives there for most of his career, has only played over 100 games in a regular season one time in his career. And yes, that one time he did play more than 100 games. He played at an MVP level, but that's something you have to consider if you're the Dodgers when it comes to a Luis Robert Jr. signing. So are these fluke injuries? Do you think that in your organization that you can have more success with them and keep them on the field? I definitely think that's possible. Rosenthal pointed out that the White Sox don't expect to receive multiple top prospects, but they want a meaningful piece in return. So, I mean, what if you sign Ha-Seong Kim, you traded for Luis Robert Jr., Gavin Lux is that meaningful piece in return. I mean, has 2 years of team control. Maybe you extend him if you're the White Sox. I mean, who knows? But the fact that he has had these injury issues, the fact that he's not coming off a great year means that you don't have to pay that much above sticker price to get a Luis Robert Jr. on your team. So that's an option to consider. I definitely am on board with the idea of Luis Robert Jr. if you can't sign Teoscar Hernandez. Extremely talented player. I think he would thrive in this lineup with this organization. Great bat speed, a gold glove in center field. And I think with that too, you can take advantage of Tommy Edman's versatility. Tommy Edman signed a deal because he can play multiple positions at a high level. But as it stands right now, you basically need Tommy Edman to be your everyday center fielder with not a lot of flexibility. So Luis Robert Jr., you're locking in elite defense in center field. Hell, I'd even consider trading for Luis Robert Jr. even if you did possibly sign a Teoscar Hernandez. That's how good he is. Now, other option is Seiya Suzuki. Now, Seiya Suzuki, very fun player. He is not as good of a defensive outfielder as Luis Robert Jr. He's 30 years old. He is owed $36 million over the next 2 seasons, has a full no trade clause. Doesn't play great defense, but as far as a bat goes, a dynamic bat, a definitely a dynamic bat that could really give you some pop in this lineup and some consistency. Last season, he had a 138 weighted runs created plus, hit 283, had a 366 on base percentage, slugged 482, hit 21 home runs. But he's a talented hitter. He's a more consistent bat to ball, hard contact type hitter. And Seiya Suzuki makes a lot of sense too. I mean, Seiya Suzuki would certainly up the profile for this team if you can't bring back Teo or sign anyone that you think could fill in that role like a Santander. But there's a lot of things that the Dodgers love about players that he has. I mean, he's in the 91st percentile in hard hit percentage, the 78th percentile in barrel percentage. He has a 91.7 average exit velocity. Really, the only thing at the plate that he does at a below average level is strike out. He's in the 18th percentile in strikeout rate, has a 27.4% strikeout rate, but he does take his walks, a 10.8% walk rate. And the other negative, like I said, he's a -3 outs above average in the 20th percentile, but he's fast, hits the ball hard, hits for average. Contract-wise, too, a very, very favorable contract as well when you look at some of the other free agent options that are available. I mean, you look at $19 million in 2025, $19 million in 2026. So this feels like the amount that the Dodgers would love to pay Teoscar Hernandez. They would love to get Teo on a 2-year, $43 million deal, something like that, right? Could you get that production from Teo? Yes. Could you also get it from Suzuki? That would be a huge question, because what Teo has done is something that Luis Robert Jr. and Seiya Suzuki haven't proven. That is being clutch in the postseason when it matters the most. And that's the roll of the dice that the Dodgers would have to take. So that's where they stand right now. I mean, that's what you need to know. Basically, the Dodgers, they want Teo back, but they're not giving him the blank check. They don't want to, in their minds, overpay for a Teoscar Hernandez. They want him back at their price, and if they don't get that, they're going to explore options elsewhere. So big takeaway from this too is, hey, it's not like, oh, they don't get Teo, they're done. No, they don't get Teo, they're moving on, and they're going to make other moves. So we still have some more exciting moves to make this offseason. We got Abstract, $499. How will they be willing to spend $600 million on Soto and then turn around and act cheap on Teo? 3 years, 75 is beyond fair. And I'll tell you that's because they don't have Teo in the category of Juan Soto. It's not how it works. I mean, it's kind of one of those things where you look at, I mean, you it's not like you're willing to spend the same amount of money on, sometimes you'd be more willing to overpay for a house and not overpay for a car, right? I mean, Soto is a different caliber of player that would have been signed for over a decade, would have been a longer commitment. I don't think that they ever were even in the serious finalists to get Juan Soto anyway. But hey, look, that's the thing. The Dodgers, they will break the bank on players that they absolutely love, and then they will stick to their guns on those second, third tier type of free agents. But coming up next, we're going to do some designated Twitter. Dodgers Nation reacts to Walker Buehler signing with the Boston Red Sox.
Designated Twitter, the best of Dodgers social media.
So Twitter definitely blew up this morning. Definitely was emotional for sure. And we're going to look at some of these tweets because, yeah, this one kind of stunk. So Tony Taters, hit me with some tweets and let's see what we got. We got our friend over there, Ed. There we go. We got Ed Hand says, had heard negotiations with Buehler had stalled because the Sox wanted multiple years and Buehler wanted just 1 year. Looks like Boston blinked first. Yeah, they did. And Buehler is in Beantown. Next one we got World Series champion Andrew. Didn't y'all feel that earthquake, or was that from every Dodgers fan falling to their knees at the same time when they saw the Walker Buehler news? I'm going to give you a little comment of the show for that one.
You win.
Absolutely. And then we got, I love this. I love this. We got Walker Buehler, already miss you, man. We got the Wolverine meme. This is the updated one. This is the updated Wolverine meme from the Deadpool Wolverine. So you love that. You got the frame. He's just looking at it, kind of thinking about World Series Game 5. So that's awesome. That's definitely a nice little Let's Go Dodgers right there. Then we've got Klein25. Always felt like the Dodgers' intent was to replace Walker Buehler with Roki Sasaki. I have to imagine the Dodgers are extremely confident they will be signing him. Yeah, I mean, that's a fantastic take as well. I mean, the Dodgers feel good about getting Sasaki, but I think they also don't know. I think there's a lot of unknown with Sasaki. I think they feel like their chances are as good as any team, them and the San Diego Padres. And the only thing that we need to know about the Sasaki pursuit is that it's going to be max effort, is that they're going to make sure that everything is perfect, that they're going to fully explain why he should sign with the Dodgers as far as them being the best fit for optimizing his career, the coaching, the six-man rotation, all the advanced analytics and the data and the resources and the team of Japan aspect. I'm sure it's going to be a pitch for the ages, but yeah, we don't know. Other big takeaway thing too is I think the Dodgers are very confident in the health of their rotation. I think now we know that they feel good about Tyler Glass now not having to have surgery or having to miss extended period of time. They feel good about Yamamoto's recovery and him missing almost 3 months with that shoulder injury, the torn injury that he's dealing with, the tricep injury, and everything was dealing with in 2024. They feel good about Shohei Ohtani coming back. They feel good about Blake Snell staying on the mound. So I think they feel good about the health of the guys they do have and that they still have a good chance of bringing in Roki Sasaki. So next one, though, comes from Bruce Kuntz, friend of the show. What's up, Bruce Kuntz? Walker Buehler pitched in 4 World Series games with the Dodgers, 2-0, 19 innings, a 4.7 ERA, a .53 whip, a 24-3 strikeout to walk ratio in 1 save. Yeah, I'll give you a nice little Let's Go Dodgers for that one because he was a dog. He was a dog on the biggest stage. Next, we've got Dusty Baker. Dusty Baker, not the Dodger great, who was a part of the starting the high five, the Hall of Famer. He says, there are some players that get a social media thank you post by their team. Walker Buehler deserves a tribute video going back to his rookie season and the way he came up clutch time and time again over the course of his career with the Dodgers. That's a home run right there. That's a home run. I love that. I absolutely think that's a great idea, Dusty Baker, just because they're not playing the Dodgers at Dodger Stadium. So you're not going to have that opportunity to have that video montage. So might as well do it on social media. But yeah, guys, keep firing away down below. And thanks for rocking with us on Dodgers Nation designated Twitter. Always have those tweets ready. Give a hashtag designated Twitter so we know which ones to look for. So you can have your tweets featured on next week's show. We got a $10 super chat from Scott Slater, $10. Butane was great. Butane was let go because LA already knows on the insider tip that they are getting Roki. Don't worry, y'all. World Series 2025 trophy is going to be back in LA. I definitely think that they're confident. I don't think they know for a fact, but I think that they have to feel good about where they're at. But we're going to do the end of this show. The end of this show, the walk-off today is going to be about Christmas and our Christmas wish list.
The walk-off.
Hits the ball to right field. She is gone!
So I asked you guys over on the X, what are 3 things that you have on your Dodgers Christmas wish list? Saw a lot of great responses. I'll give you my Christmas wish list. Number 1 is Roki Sasaki. Sign the Roki of the Year. Roki Sasaki would be like getting a $300+ million pitcher for less than $10 million. It would be one of the biggest come-ups, one of the biggest coups this offseason to get someone who has the potential to be the best pitcher on the planet. Andrew Friedman told me that Roki Sasaki feels like he could be the best pitcher in the world, and they feel like he could be the best pitcher in the world. You could get that guy for less than $10 million. It's like you're basically getting him on a Black Friday sale, right? That's how you could get Roki Sasaki on a Black Friday sale. doorbusters where you're running in and people used to trample people. You know, the good old days of Black Friday. Now, second on my wish list, sign Teoscar Hernandez. I know I love roster flexibility. I know I love keeping things nimble so you could make additions, but we have a proven formula here as far as lineup construction. If you bring Teo back, this team could go back-to-back. This team could three-peat, and there's no doubts about the 1 through 4 in your lineup with the return of Teoscar. There's no doubts about the 1 through 5 in your lineup. That is how pivotal that could be. Give me Teoscar Hernandez. 3, sign Tanner Scott. Sign Tanner Scott. High leverage arm. You wanted Devin Williams. You didn't execute that trade. You told us you want another elite arm. Teoscar Hernandez is going to be back, hopefully. And then after that, you sign Tanner Scott. 4, trade for Nolan Arenado. I know some people don't like that. I still think that Arenado could be very, very additive. I still think he's got more 20 home run season, Golden Glove seasons in him. 5, a little stocking stuffer, but is certainly something that could be big under the tree. Kike Hernandez. Kike Hernandez has potential to be the stocking stuffer. And then, last Christmas present I want, extend Dave Roberts. Extend Dave Roberts and give him a lifetime contract. But let me know what's on your Christmas wish list. Another one, actually, I'll throw in a bonus one. Another one to celebrate Fernando Valenzuela next year. I think they should throw back the 80s Dodgers gray uniform with the white piping around the Dodgers. I don't think they should bring those back full-time permanently, but I want to see those throwbacked in 2025. Got a 199 super chat. When are the gold jerseys being released? That'll be at some time towards the start of next season. But Noel, what's on your Christmas wish list? Are we open the things?
Before my wish list, I got a gift for both of you guys, for Doug McKain and Tony's haters. Let me.
Noel. We got Noel Claus. No trade Santa Claus.
You know,
all right, we got...
before you open it, just a quick message. I think a lot of the fans feel this way too. You know, we have a lot to be thankful for this holiday season, but I think I speak for the entire chat when we say we're thankful for you. You bring us the best Dodgers content every single morning, and we appreciate you.
I'm crying like Freddie Freeman in Atlanta. Man, that means a lot.
I can't take full credit for this gift right here. This is actually from Nikki. He owns a salon called Union Salon in Pasadena.
All right, let's...
So go ahead, take a look at.
Thank you so much, and we're all thankful for you, Noel. Killing it on social media. Big part of Dodgers Dugout Live. Let's check this fresh T-shirt out. Okay, I love this. Mook Doggy Dog. This is great. You got the Mook Doggy Dog. I love T-shirts that have like the back with the design like this. And look at that. We got the fireball right there. Got Mookie, the Mook Doggy Dog. And then you got the LA on the center.
And he's killing it with these T-shirts.
Big shout out to Nikki. Big shout out to Nikki. Big shout out to all you guys. And let me ask you, what's on your Dodgers wish list? I dropped mine. What's on yours?
Oh, man. That's tough, man, because I really like what they've been doing this offseason. Come on, bro. What are you talking about?
Let's be honest.
Come on.
A trade for Fernando Tatis
No,
Jr.
I do not want Fernando Tatis Jr. on this team.
All right.
No. Man, my wish, I hope everyone gets healthy. I know Freddie Freeman underwent surgery. I know Shohei Ohtani is rehabbing 2 surgeries. So I would say number 1 is to get healthy. I want to see Gonsolin back 100% as well. And just, it was a long season. You know, a lot of these guys are going through their own stuff. Miggy Rowe, of course, had surgery as well. He put together one of the best shortstop seasons at age 34, 35. So I would say number 1 is to get healthy. Number 2, re-sign Teoscar Hernandez for sure. And number 3, like you said, Doug, a little stuffing stalker. Man, I want to see a black Dodgers jersey come at some point. Maybe not next year, but me and you, we were at the Dodgers clubhouse over in Universal City Walk, and we saw those black jerseys on the racks, but they've never actually been worn. So I hope within the next 5 years, I want to see some sort of special black Dodgers jersey.
That would sell like crazy. They had opportunity with the City Connect to do that, but I would definitely be in favor of a black jersey too. That'd be pretty sweet. All right, Antonio, what's on your Dodgers Christmas wish list?
Oh, you already know where this is going, bro. I just want a healthy Clayton Kershaw to finish the year. He's probably going to retire after this season. Just want to see him in that postseason roster and also hopefully contribute well. That's all I want. Obviously, we need Teo back. We need a bunch of other stuff. I wouldn't mind having Nolan Arenado, but give me that last Kershaw final year in a healthy Dodger uniform. You know what I'm saying?
I knew that was coming. He's got to re-sign first, but by all indications, that's going to happen, and he's feeling good and healthy. And yeah, he definitely needs his farewell tour. Absolutely. And it's going to be special to see him back with the Dodgers. A couple more super chats. We got Victor Banos, hashtag 34 forever, $20. Appreciate that. Give you a Let's Go Dodgers. Happy holidays, D-Mac. Any news on Kike? Yeah, I mean, we've reported on the show after the conversation. Wait, what is happening? We got shirtless Antonio. Oh my goodness. Antonio going full Max Scherzer post 2021 wild card walk-off. Shirtless Antonio. What? There you go. Yeah, you're in cursor. You got to give him a Dodgers for life. Dodgers for life. There you go. There you go. Okay, now Noel's next. No, okay. Okay. Let's that's for OnlyFans, not YouTube, guys. But
that Travis Matthews quarter zip. So
yeah, you never know. But yeah, guys, thank you so much, and enjoy the holidays. We're gonna still be doing content.
Merry
I'm going on a trip, but I will be back the next week in studio. And anything breaks, any news on Teo, anything Dodgers related, we will be going live. We will be dropping videos. So I'm going to have equipment to be able to do that. But happy holidays, Dodgers Nation. Merry Christmas. Everyone out there in the chat, thank you so much. You guys really make this show what it is. You guys are as big a part of the show as anyone. This is Dodgers Nation. You guys are absolutely incredible with all your comments, all your jokes, everything you bring throughout there. We cannot thank you enough, but that's going to do it for this episode. My name is Doug McKain. You can follow me on X and Instagram at DMAC_LA. Remember, nothing brings together quite like